As we're moving along, we're going to be sewing the corners first. The first bead is going to be our starting point. We're going to sew first on the side hair of the first bead, bringing the needle in through the loop and pulling up towards the ceiling. When we are sewing the corners, we're going to move from left of our starting point and move forward to the right of the starting point, as you see me doing here. I am attaching the wefts to the side hair. I'm going to insert my needle once again over top into the side hair, through the wefts, in through the center loop, and pull up towards the ceiling. I'm going to create another stitch in through the side hair, through the wefts, in through the loop, and pull up towards the ceiling to create my knot. We're going to do this all the way to the end of the weft with that same side hair. Once we have sewn and installed the thread all the way to the corner, we will move back to the left of those stitches. Here is my last stitch, securing that corner piece of the weft. Now I'm going to move to the left side of the stitching. Here, I want to go in front of the bead in order to connect the other wefts. Remember that we will never sew through the bead or behind the bead, as this will cause too much tension and traction on the hair, which can cause traction alopecia. Once we have sewn in front of the bead, we will move on to the side hair. Sew through the side hair again, through the wefts, in through the loop, and we'll pull up. Create another stitch on the side hair. Grab the wefts with your needle, go through the loop, and pull up to the ceiling. The next section you'll see is the bridge. Here you'll grab the thread, the wefts, in through the loop, pull up towards the ceiling to create your knot. The next stitch will be your side hair, the beginning of your side hair. In through the side hair, grab the wefts, pull up to the ceiling. This will now be in front of your bead. Now we are in front of the bead. Do not go through the bead. Go in front of the bead through the wefts and through the loop. Pull up to secure the thread. Side hair next to the bead. Wefts in through the loop, pull up to the ceiling. Create another stitch on the side hair, through the side hair, in through the wefts, through the loop, up towards the ceiling. Now we are going through the bridge, wefts, loop, pull up towards the ceiling. As we move along, you're going to be doing the same thing. Side hair, bridge, side hair, side hair, bridge, side hair, bead. It will depend on this amount of side hair that you have. Sometimes you'll have to do 2 stitches on the side hair, then go in front of the bead, then go into the side hair, and then into the bridge. Remember that as you move along, you need to keep track and just lift the wefts to make sure that you have sewn all of the wefts underneath. And continue through your installation. Remember that the stitches do not have to be super close together. You want them to be apart just enough where there's room for it to move. You don't want the thread to be super, super tight because this can cause too much tension on the scalp, creating irritation and just uncomfortable placement. Here we're going in front of the bead, through the wefts, in through the loop, pull up towards the ceiling. Next, we're going to go in through the side hair, which is next to the bead. Side hair, wefts, loop, pull up to the ceiling. Remember to keep checking as you move along, making sure that you are grabbing all of the wefts along with the bridges that you are creating so that you can secure a great foundation. Now we're going through the bridge, wefts, in through the loop, pull up to the ceiling. Beginning of the side hair, in through the wefts, in through the loop, up to the ceiling. Side hair, wefts, loop, ceiling. Next one will be in front of the bead. Remember, you will not go through the bead or behind the bead. It will always be in front of the bead. Here, I was just also making sure that the thread is actually even to my needle. Anytime that you feel that the thread is twisting together or that is uneven, make sure that you straighten it out so this can be a smooth installation for you. Sometimes when you don't pay attention to the thread, it can and will create a knot within the thread itself in the middle. If this does happen, try your best to take the knot out. Otherwise, feel free to cut it and create a new section and connecting those tails together to continue with a new thread. Now we're just moving along. Side hair. Now we're going in front of the bead, through the wefts, through the loop, up to the ceiling. Next stitch is side hair, which is right next to the bead, as you can see here. Not through it, but right next to it. Wefts, in through the loop, pull up to the ceiling. Notice how I'm always smoothing the hair down to ensure that it's not getting caught in the thread. We want to create clean sections. We went just through this end of the side hair again, wefts, in through the loop, and pulled up. We just went through the bridge, wefts, loop, and pull up. Now the side hair, wefts, loop, pull up. Bead in front of the bead, in, grab the wefts, in through the loop, and pull up to the ceiling. Side hair, wefts, through the loop, up to the ceiling. Notice the hair that did get caught right there. There we can actually pull that through at the end when we lift our wefts up and just move that hair out of its place or back into place. Here I am running out of thread, so I am going to create another addition. I am inserting my needle in the same place where I just ended. I'm going to bring the thread in through the side hair, grabbing the wefts as well, leaving out the tail and tying my new tail with my current thread, making 2 knots, and then grabbing the other tail that I left behind and securing those 2 ends together. Once I cut that tail that is left behind will be sewn over when you are going to your next section. Now we're moving on to the side hair, and we're going to make sure that those ends get sewn in so they lay flat. Side hair, wefts, in through the loop, and we're going to pull up. Now we're going to go through that bridge, wefts, in through the loop, and pull up. Side hair, thread, wefts, in through the loop, and pull up. Smooth the hair. Now we're going in front of the bead. sewing the wefts together in through the loop and pull up. And now this is the final step, the corner. Using your side hair, go in through the side hair, grab your wefts in through the loop and pull up. Remember to always make sure that you are pulling ever so slightly the hair with the other hand, just so that you're making sure that it's not really moving out of its place. And notice here that I will remove the pin curl clip if it's getting in my way, so that I can have a more free area to secure this corner. We're going to move back away from the corner. And then I like to secure by grabbing a piece of the thread and looping it about 1 to 2 times, and then cutting the thread and securing it with the tail that is left behind from the beads that we installed previously. So we created 2 knots there. We're going to cut the thread and secure the 2 tails together and cut those 2 to ensure that we don't have a long piece of thread hanging. Notice also that this last knot is going to be more inside of the wefts as opposed to laying on top or in front of them. We want to make sure that they don't stick out during her installation. If there are any return hairs that are sticking up, you can trim them, but don't over trim them because they do get a little too pokey when they're too short. Here I'm going to make sure that I don't have any hair that's crossing from underneath. If there is, I'll grab my tail comb and I'll remove any little hairs that shouldn't be in the area that we sewed. Just like that. Use your tail comb and remove it very gently. Each row should take a total of 25 to 45 minutes, depending on how wide the head is, how many wefts you're installing, and also if you're doing a traditional beaded row or a no-show.